Hey fam, how are you all doing today? Welcome to Monday Moments. I trust you're well and blessed. Today, as you've seen from the title, we're talking about goal setting, which is one of the topics I happen to love. I enjoy it a lot and want to find out how setting goals can be useful in our lives. And as you're aware, this is a motivation channel, so our primary focus happens to be on how to improve our lives, various things we can do, though we include a few other lifestyle activities such as farming and hair. You've seen a few of the videos. So, what is goal setting? As the name suggests, goal setting is the process of identifying something you want to accomplish and creating distinct and computable goals or targets that you wish to achieve. Goal setting is important because it provides direction and gives purpose to our lives. When we set goals, we identify what we want to achieve and what we need to do to achieve those things, hence instilling that sense of purpose. Goals also motivate us to take action, whether in our personal or professional lives, and they give us a sense of control over the future because it means we don't leave everything to chance. We are not just guessing and moving about, like on a whim, so to speak. For instance, you will not wake up in the morning and just say, well, I wonder what's going to happen to me today. There's no plan for the day. Let me just wait and see what happens. That's not the best way to live our lives. So goal setting involves long and short-term goals or targets that help us stay focused and track our progress, allowing us to measure the attained results or to allowing us to attain the desired results. Short-term targets would probably last a couple of days, maybe a few weeks. They are close. They are things you can see the end of almost from the time you're beginning. You can predict, and as such, you can tick them as you go along, hence boosting your confidence and giving you encouragement as you wait for the long-term goals, because long-term goals tend to push for a longer period. You need to, have your grind in there and keep encouraging yourself. So if you have the short-term goals that you can see, yes, I achieved this, it makes them look a bit more approachable. Now you might ask, why is goal setting important? I'm glad you asked. There are many reasons why setting realistic goals for yourself is important. Some of these are: number one, it helps us see the bigger picture in life. Setting goals helps us take a step back and get some perspective on what's really important in all the noise that's going on around us. It's the first step towards creating a life full of meaning. Now, in the office or in the family, setting goals as a team helps everyone get the whole picture so that we're all on the same page. Knowing the long-term goal and what a family is striving towards can help each member perform better in their role, and it helps them understand what's required. Number two, it provides motivation. By nature, consciously setting goals gives you something to aspire to. Having a specific goal will motivate you to get out of bed in the morning and give you a reason why. Also, it lets you put your best foot forward so you're not operating in a mundane manner, not knowing what is happening. If you're a member of a team, having a clear vision of what your team is aiming to achieve provides inspiration and motivation. Number three, it gives a sense of direction. Taking the time to think about what you want in life gives you a sense of purpose. You're not just floating around aimlessly. You get up each day knowing what you're working towards. A lot like the video, it was a short actually, about the ship that I recently posted, if you recall. Please check it out if you haven't seen it. For example, you could create a 3-year, a 5-year, or even a 10-year plan. 5 sounds a bit more reasonable, more balanced, based on what you want your life to look like in the next 5 or so years. Having this long-term plan can help you move from just daydreaming to actually doing and planning. In other words, taking action. I don't know how many of you have heard about something called goal setting theory. What is goal setting theory? It's a motivational theory that explains how goals affect behavior. It suggests that setting specific, challenging goals leads to increased performance, persistence, and motivation. The theory states that setting goals gives individuals a clear understanding of what's expected of them and helps them to focus. Furthermore, it indicates that individuals who set specific and challenging goals are more likely to achieve better results than those who don't. The theory suggests that feedback and commitment are essential elements in goal setting and achievement, because you need to know how far you've gone. You're able to track your progress when you're able to get feedback, and it enables you to become all the more committed to what you're trying to achieve. So ensuring that you're not set and going after your goals in a vacuum will help you to be more successful in actually achieving them, because you get feedback, you're discussing with someone, you're sharing either in a group or in your family or with a friend, so that you have more accountability. Actually, that's in fact the word that I'm looking for. So how do we set achievable goals in life? When you're setting personal goals, it's important to start with goals that are big enough, not very tiny that they make no sense, but also not too big, just big enough that they're still realistic. You can set something that's so far-fetched that you can't even start it. So here are some tips for setting personal goals. When it comes to setting personal goals, I can give you some tips. The first one is to consider your passions. Part of the process for how to set goals in life should be decided by what inspires you and what your values are. Passion for your goals is an absolute must. If you're to achieve them in the long run, you have to have something that keeps you going. And the only way to do that is to have something that you're really interested and passionate about. Your goals should be meaningful to you and provide you with a sense of pride once you achieve them. If you're setting goals that you don't really care about, achieving them is going to do nothing much for you, and therefore, hence, motivation will be very low. You want something that really keeps you going. Every time you see you've made some small progress, it really charges you because it matters. These are things that you care about. Number 2 is to set goals you can control. If, for instance, your goal is based on something outside of your control, you're not able to control whether or not you can actually achieve it. So your personal goals cannot be dependent on other people or reliant on some external factors of which you have no control. You need to be realistic about what you can and cannot be directly responsible for, and hence have that in mind when you're setting your goals. Thirdly, you need to imagine your future. You really need to do a lot of imagining here. If, for instance, you have particularly things that you want to acquire, or levels you want to reach in, let's say, work or personally, imagine them. You need to see them. You need to see these goals so that when you're working towards them, it's a very real and tangible thing. It would be good if you could take some time to really think about how you'd like your life to look. What does your ideal future entail? If you were to think about your perfect life, what would it look like? Possibly jot it down so that you have something to look at every now and then really fantasize and will it into being so that you can make steps. You write how you would like to get there. Take, for example, maybe you're setting personal career goals. You could ask yourself a few questions that would lead you or guide you in the direction towards what it is you want to achieve in your career. Perhaps you have a salary in mind that for you is your ideal. That's what you would love to earn. Would you want to be employed for a certain period of time and then move into business? Or do you want to be employed until you retire? Or do you never want to be employed? Perhaps you want to be self-employed from the word go. Such things are important to put down and try to think of how you can make them possible. These, of course, would be more of long-term goals. Sometimes you might be a bit vague. Maybe you're not really sure exactly where you would want to end 20 years from now, but you do have a clue of what is you would like to do work-wise. What do you enjoy doing as a career? Those could guide you to what you're going to end up eventually doing on a long-term basis. If you're brainstorming like in a family setting, one of the best ways you can go about it is to brainstorm together as a team and then jot down your ideas collectively. Ask big questions like, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? And then get everyone's input on it. Another thing you have to do is to make sure that you include everyone. If it's a big family, try to get the opinions of everyone. If you can't do it together in one setting, try and find the other people, get their opinions, and then combine everything so that nobody is feeling left out. Each family member should feel as though they are free to speak and their opinions matter and they can contribute their ideas to the goal setting. That way, everyone has a sense of responsibility so that they're feeling like, yes, I took part, I contributed, and therefore I have the obligation to try and see this through, make this work out as much as possible. Write down each team member's ideas. No matter how silly or strange they sound or far-fetched, just let everybody's opinion be heard so that you can go through each goal together and discuss, and then everyone is able to feel like they matter and they're part of this joint effort. This applies whether it's in the family or in the office setting, actually.